This next grant brings ancient tradition into a modern lens. With 3 student assistantships, the John P. Monahan Gallery for Spring 2027 will explore how contemporary artists are reimagining Ming Dynasty practices. Digital media students brought this experience to life. I'm joined by art history and visual culture professor Elizabeth Kindle. Can you tell me about how this project combines traditional practices with a contemporary vision?
This was a real challenge at first because trying to think of 17th century, 18th century art and how to show that to the public, that's not very exciting. But when you actually look at how much that has affected people all over the country, all over the nations, all over the world, that was really kind of a fun thing. And so this began with a seminar that I had with graduate students, and we were working on traditional art, and then they kept finding these objects that they were really interested in, that they wanted to work on, that were modern pieces, from ceramics to furniture, like Dutch furniture that was influenced by Chinese art, And so we thought, this would be really interesting to show to the public in a way that perhaps they would find, intriguing. And so that's how it began. And then we started thinking, now, how would we make this really exciting, right? And so one of the things that some of the graduate students decided to do was to imagine a video game. And so from there, we contacted Dr. Sky Anderson, and we said, we have this video game idea. And he said, I love this. And so then we began working with him on that. And then everything kind of burgeoned from there. So he had an undergraduate student that he worked with on designing the game. And then I also have been working with 2 graduate students, and they have really been researching, all of the ways that art that we find from China, 17th, 18th century, how that's manifest in all of these different types of art forms. And so we've been looking into that and then deciding what we'd like to bring to the gallery for the show.
Yeah, you described a little bit about that video game. What were some of the challenges you faced in that digital creation?
The first thing was how to capture the studio and how to engage people with these objects that are, quite old, right, and make it exciting. One of the things that the students decided on was to kind of do an old school style of video game. So students found that kind of fun and exciting and hoped that people that played it would. And then the other thing we thought we would do was connect it to a local museum that they could actually go and see the objects, the ancient objects. So when you play the video game, you're actually going to be connected to objects that you could see at the Minneapolis Institute of Art.
Yeah. What was your experience with playing this game or interacting with it?
It was pretty overwhelming. It was quite exciting when you work on really ancient objects to see something that's so modern and yet teaching these really ancient concepts and ideas and topography subject matter. And so it was really fun to see something that I hoped would be engaging for people and yet at the same time was teaching them things that I really thought were important to know.
And that's so fun too that students can see these things in the video game and then go visit it right here in the Twin Cities.
That was the goal, is that we really wanted to have that outreach. We're really engaged in the community, the arts in the community, and we wanted people to know that, the Minneapolis Institute of Art is there for them for all ages, and to go and enjoy the objects. We have so many wonderful pieces there.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for talking about your project with us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.